Our India Today Mood of the Nation poll said 71% of Indians feel that unemployment is either a serious issue or somewhat serious. Yet when those same people were asked, who will you vote for? They said, we'll vote for Prime Minister Modi and the BJP. So the point, sir,
That
is
proves my
you
point.
were in power for most of the last 7 decades. People are saying, okay, there may be problems, but we seem to trust Prime Minister Modi and the BJP more than the Congress, which was tried and tested. Is that your problem?
No, that's your interpretation. I'm saying when there's massive unemployment, significant poverty, and huge gaps in education and healthcare, if the people are not voting against an incumbent government, it must be for some other reason. The some other reason, I think, is the Hindutva wave that seems to be sweeping Hindi-speaking northern states. I don't blame anyone. I don't criticize anyone. I'm stating a fact as I see it. If that is a fact, and if the Hindutva wave is sweeping across Hindi-speaking northern India and people are swayed by that, well, they will vote accordingly and the country will have a government, but you will have these problems unattended, unaddressed, and people will suffer.
So you're saying it's a Hindutva wave that you think could be the reason for the BJP's rise. There will be those who will say Lok Sabha elections in particular in this country have become quasi-presidential. Voters want to know who is my leader. And then when they make the election Modi versus Rahul, or Namdar versus Kamdar, or Kamdar versus Namdar, that's where you lose out. Again, Nirmala Sitharaman says, Rahul Gandhi is scurrying around the country, one day Bharat Jodo Yatra, one day Bharat Nyaya Yatra. What does it mean in tangible terms? And then they compare it with Mr. Modi, and it becomes a no contest is what she suggests. That's the problem, not just Hindutva. The opposition has an opportunity. You need better leadership, more credible leadership before people trust you.
Now, you're moving away to another subject now.
No, I'm not.
We are asking, why are people voting in a particular manner?
Yes.
Why do you think people are expected to vote in a particular manner despite unemployment and poverty? And I gave you my answer. I think despite massive unemployment and significant poverty, if people are voting, it must be because they are motivated by some other factor. And that factor, in my view, is Hindutva factor.
So you don't think it's about leadership? You don't think it's about leadership?
We'll come to that. It is about leadership. But the leader is seen as the principal protagonist of Hindutva. If you can't de-link the leader from the wave that seems to be sweeping across the country. The leader is identified as the principal protagonist of Hindutva. So if people are voting for Hindutva, they will naturally vote for Mr. Modi.
Mr. Chidambaram, on the other hand, people want to know what your party now stands for. You mentioned the unemployment crisis. You mentioned that poverty at the bottom of the pyramid is much deeper than many people imagine. What is your solution to it? For example, I see these Nyay promises you made. The right to apprenticeship. 1 lakh stipend will be provided to every diploma or undergraduate holder below the age of 25. You talk about 1 lakh to a woman in every poor family will be given. Have numbers been calculated? Are you in any position to provide this? According to, again, dare I say, the government says none of this is actually empowering people. All these rights are in abstract. They don't actually empower people. The BJP, according to them, is empowering people by putting cash in hand and actually providing people tangible benefits.
If they put cash in the hands, it is cash in the hand. If we promise an apprentice 1 lakh a year, that's not cash in the hand. Don't apply these different standards. Let's take one by one.
They say they are empowering people by through the Vishwakarma scheme, for example, providing people the body blocks for them to actually reach up to an aspirational India. You're
I
talking
thi-
of a povertarian India, they talk of an aspirational India.
Listen, you can dress it up with words, and you are a wordsmith. That's not the issue. The issue is if 1 lakh young people are put through a 1-year apprenticeship program, is that not empowerment? Is that not putting money in the hands of an unemployed graduate? 42% is the unemployment rate among graduates. You saw that police constable examination. Police constable examination, 60 lakh people applied, 48 lakh wrote the examination. Every railway station, every bus stand was crowded. They had to run special buses, special trains, and 2 days after the examination, they cancelled the examination.
So, but one of the highest one of the highest unemployment rates in recent times has been in Congress-ruled Rajasthan. The point is, you've got to put up a model state. If you say the BJP is doing A, B, C wrong, you've got to either create a model state where you're ruling, or show what you will do to ensure that
That
next
is what
time
we
a
are saying.
constable exam is held, you won't have lakhs of people applying.
That is what we are saying. Wait for our manifesto. You picked out 2 points of the manifesto. I will defend those 2 points. Those 2 points are perfectly valid. The apprenticeship is a good idea. There's an apprenticeship act. It's an anemic act, a toothless act. We're going to strengthen that. 45,000 companies have joined the apprenticeship program today. There are 10 lakh companies which can afford to have an apprentice, obliged to have an apprentice. From 45,000 to 10 lakh, if 10 lakh companies, 1/10 of them, 1 lakh companies take 1 apprenticeship each, 1 apprentice each, that is 1 lakh graduates will be through the apprenticeship program. What's wrong with that? What's your criticism of that program?
The question,
No,
therefore,
what is your criticism of that program?
sir, my question, it is not for me to criticize the people of
You
this
did-
country.
you did
No,
just
people
now.
of, people of this country are judging you by your agenda. You recall 2019, before the election, the Congress came up and said they would bring a minimum income scheme.
Yes.
Right? That time's Nyay program. You ended up with 52 seats. Now you're talking about the 5 Nyays that you're going to give the people. Again, we don't know where it'll end up, but the question is it then a problem of communication? If you believe these schemes are so good, why is it that the people of this country are not endorsing your party? Is there a disjunction between what you say and what the voter behavior is?
You are applying wrong measures to assess a program. I'm here to defend the worth of the program. If people do not vote for us, it's not because they are for or against that program. There are 100 thoughts that race through a voter's mind when he or she enters a voting booth. What finally impels a voter to vote for one party or against another party does not depend upon one promise or one manifesto point. There are 100 other things. Therefore, you are asking me the validity of a promise, and I'm ready to defend the validity of that promise. But why a voter does not vote for the Congress is dependent upon a number of other factors.